Okay, so we're just waiting for the sunset here in Joshua Tree National Park, and the sun is setting behind me. Look at that, and my hair is a total mess. So please, don't even comment that in the comments, okay? I'm gonna set up my camera now, maybe get some nice sunset shots, and just wait for the comet. All right, so I'm parked off of this dirt road here. Those cars you see over there they're driving on Park Boulevard, which is the main road to the park, Joshua Tree National Park. And what I'm doing here is I'm crossing the road to kind of look for interesting either plants or Joshua trees or rocks, or just interesting landscaping that I can frame the comet. And I'm also checking out the ground here to see like where's an opening I can even set up my tripod, because I'm gonna need a tripod. And there's tons of locations here in Joshua Tree National Park to set up. This is just one, and I'll show you on a map where the other locations that I tried. Okay, so I drove in from the west entrance from the 62, and I got off on Park Boulevard. Now the west entrance station over here of Joshua Tree National Park, they were closed by the time I came. I came here about 5:30, and it is almost, well, the sun is setting right in front of me, right here on the dashboard. But drove down over here to Quail Springs, and there was bees there. So that was the original plan, was to go to Quail Springs and set up my telescope, but too many bees. So then we drove all the way down to Baker Dam, and there was a lot of people there. And it also said only day use parking. So then we backtrack, and I think, or Hidden Valley, we went there too. I think we're at Hemingway, and I want to say that's the area we're at right here. Now, I didn't get to show you these, but these are bathrooms nearby the parking lot. Here is the dirt parking lot. There's not very many people here. And there's that Park Boulevard again. Now, these plants right here, one of those spikes got into my running shoes. I should have worn my hiking shoes. But yeah, watch out for these prickly cactus everywhere there. And yeah, dogs are permitted. I brought my Maltipoo with me. They just have to stay in the parking lot, and they can't go on the trails. This is my basic setup, my Sony A7 and my Mi Photo tripod. So very basic setup here, and I put it in manual mode, and I have my wide angle Zeiss lens, because when I'm taking a photo of the comet, I'm really going for it's more of a nightscape photo or night sky photography rather than just astrophotography. So that's why I don't have a zoom lens on there. I really want to incorporate, I mean, the whole purpose for me of going to Joshua Tree is to get shots of Joshua trees in my photos. So I really wanted a wide angle, the sharpest lens I own. And then I'll show you 3 pictures that I took. These are unedited, and how I got them. So Comet Neowise is supposed to be under the constellation Ursa Major, the Big Bear, or the Big Dipper, and the Northern Horizon. So right in between, we've got the comet there. Looks like, a fuzzy, nebulous kind of streak in the sky. That's the comet. What you got below the comet is the sun setting, and that streak of light there is cars that are, I mean, there's a lot of cars that was driving along Park Boulevard. And in the foreground here, I lit this cactus plant here with my red headlamp. So I did a little bit of a light painting, as they say in photography. And then on the left side, I got a little bit of a Joshua tree and some rocks there. But I played around with, now you have to have your camera in manual mode. I played around with keeping the shutter open from 8 to 10 seconds. And I felt like that was a nice balance of getting sharp pinpoint stars, but still getting, the image of the comet itself. If I kept it open any longer, everything just kind of ended up being blown out, and I didn't have that nice balance of light in, for example, this shot right here. This is photo number 2 that I took of the comet, and it's framed perfectly right above those 2 bright stars there, close to the horizon. Again, this is looking north under the Big Dipper. On the very top there, you can kind of see that streak of red and white light. That's an airplane. There was actually a lot of airplanes. I have one picture where I had 4 aircraft streaks of light in my shot. So yeah, there's airplanes fly over Joshua Tree. You don't really notice it until you start taking pictures of the night sky. So again, this is probably like 8 to 10 seconds. And I have the lens wide open to like a 2 or 1 point something. But it was dark and I was messing with a lot of different settings. Normally I do take a more methodical approach and I start with the lowest setting I have on my camera and work up with ISO, with shutter, with aperture. But I mean, this shot was just for fun. It wasn't for work. So in the dark, I'm doing all this and then losing my night vision because the screen on the back of my camera is so bright. I had to turn it down. But I mean, I'm happy with the shot. I've got Park Boulevard and that streak of light at the very bottom of the photo. Yep, there was a lot of cars and a lot of traffic, but then you got the Joshua trees silhouetted there, which I thought was really interesting with that streak of light there. And you got that outcrop there of the rock being lit as well from all the cars. The cars just created this interesting, lighting effect on the rocks and the road and some of the plant life that I wasn't really bothered by it. But I did think it was pretty cool that you could still see the comet even with all the traffic going on at Joshua Tree. Okay, this is the last shot I'm going to show you. Remember, these are all unedited. If you want to see an edited artistic version, my artistic edited version of these photos, I posted them on my website, on my blog. I will put links to them in the description. But this shot here, I had an image going to Joshua Tree that I wanted Joshua trees in the shot. And I played with lighting them with my red headlamp. And that's why you can see kind of red at the bottom of the photo here in the foreground. And the guy on the left here with his light, he was trying to do some interesting lighting things as well. He's another fellow photographer. But we had so much traffic from the road and people were turning off from Park Boulevard onto this dirt road that we would get their headlights. So behind me is the dirt road that I parked on. And those are the headlights on the Joshua trees and headlights on the Joshua trees in the background there. Yeah, so and then headlights from the actual road. We just had some really interesting lighting. I had no control over that. Anything in red is what I was trying to control. Anything brightly lit like that was from cars headlights, cars brake lights. But I was able to get the framing that I really wanted of the comet in between 2 Joshua trees. And that's kind of the image I had going in. So I'm glad I got the shot that I wanted. I just didn't imagine that these Joshua trees would be fully lit by cars, high beams. I was planning on doing it in a more controlled way with my flashlight, my headlamp. But there you go. I mean, I was pretty happy with that. And the stars are as close to pinpoint as I can get it. Now, the Milky Way is actually behind me. So you're not seeing it in any of these shots. But, if you go out there yourself, which I highly recommend, you will see the Milky Way. And it is gorgeous out there in that night sky. So there you go, guys. That is my quick vlog on my trip to Joshua Tree National Park to see Comet Neowise. Now, it's supposed to be still in the sky until next month, but the thing about comets is that they're dirty snowballs made up of ice and rock. So the closer they get to the sun, the more of it's going to break off and melt. So who knows if it's going to be even intact by next month. So I would recommend getting out there sooner just in case. But yeah, let me know how it goes. I'd love to hear your experience in the comments or tag me and I'll watch your video. All right, till next time.